Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Howard Pinsky, Senior XD Evangelist here at Adobe, joined by the one and only, with amazing flowers in her hair, HebaH. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, you've been here how many times now?
This is my third time.
Third time?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
And you've got some crazy things coming up today.
Yes.
Tell us all about the things, and then we'll get into some housekeeping rules and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so you guys watched Katya. She did some illustrations. If you didn't, make sure to watch the replay. But she has written a book about anxiety.
I love that.
She based it off of like Alice in Wonderland. She's actually the one who created this crown.
Ooh.
If you guys love it, tell me in the chat room. We are going to build a landing page for that book to help sell it.
I love that, because I deal with anxiety all the time. I know it's sometimes difficult. Some people say, oh, you're great on stream. But it's an act. And anxiety is something I feel like we don't talk enough about. Anxiety, mental illness, all this stuff. It's one of those things that we just kind of keep to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And having a book like that, especially with the designs and the colors that I saw a few moments ago, it's really cool.
Yeah, and I actually get anxious really, really like hard before any live stream.
Yep.
And I was just talking to Katya about it. She's like, HebaH, like, I can't tell you anything that would help calm you down, but I can tell you that you're gonna do a really good job. So that kind of calmed me down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, September is Mental Health Awareness Month. So educate yourself. I think it's very important to learn about how the different mental health issues and talk to your friends, talk to your family. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Mm-hmm. I actually suffered from postpartum depression after I've had my son. Yep. And it was really hard, and I was not educated about it, and I didn't know that I was going through it, and nobody around me did either. So it lasted about 2 years. It would have lasted a lot less if I was educated about it. Yeah.
Totally. And before we get going, a big hello, afternoon, good morning, whatever it is, to we've got Andrew and Zach and Jerry and Eric and Thushara. Possibly, if I mispronounce anyone's name, I do apologize. But I love seeing all the new people, all the returning people. Richard, if you are joining us live on Behance, let us know where you're tuning in from. We're streaming live from beautiful San Francisco. It was pretty gross this morning, but it's cleared up a little bit,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah, the weather yesterday between the mountains, there was like fog. It was very magical. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, before we get going with some of the really cool stuff that you're going to be working on, in about half an hour, we're going to be giving away 100 stickers from Sticker Mule, which is great. You've got a few stickers. I've got a massive sticker on my laptop.
Yeah.
And then about half an hour before the stream ends, we're going to be taking a look in Discord at some of the daily challenge entries that have come in over the last 2 hours or so. If you caught Andrea's stream just a few moments ago, she's putting together a teleportation application in XD.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. She is like, Andrea impresses me every single day because she's taken these daily challenges to whole new levels. I hosted 2 weeks ago. And like, I show people how to create an animated chart. Andrea's like, no, screw this. We're creating a teleportation app.
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh. So tune into her streams, they're fantastic. And if you are participating, we're gonna take a look at some of those entries that have come in over the last 2 hours or so, about half an hour before the stream ends.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so let's hop over to your screen.
Yeah.
I don't know if my tweet posted, so I'm gonna post my tweet while you explain all about your wonderful self.
If you guys know what happens behind scenes, oh my God.
Yeah.
Speaking of anxiety, you were giving me a lot of anxiety.
I'm sorry, I was trying to post this tweet and it wasn't going through, wasn't connecting to Wi-Fi. I'm like freaking out, and then the stream started, I'm like,
Oh
yeah,
God. Well, I see a lot of people from my work. Andrew, Lucinda, Gerald, Ryan, Adam, everybody's in the chat. Thank you so much for supporting me. If you guys don't know, my name is HebaH. I'm a UX designer / researcher. I have been in the industry for about 7-8 years, focusing on UX UI, and soon I'll be focusing on research. So. Nice. In my free time, I actually host a video podcast called HebaH by Design. If you guys go to hebaHbydesign.com, that's where you'll find all of my interviews. We talk about culture and people's heritage, their traditions, and how it influences the way that they problem solve. I actually use a lot of that in my work to showcase to people, the importance of diversity in design. I also mentor on the side. So if you guys need help getting into the industry, that's something that I can help you with. I used to have a focus group. I help with UX education, but also graphic design education. And I give a lot of design career advice. So if you need somebody to look over your portfolio, your resume, that's something that I can help you with. So feel free to reach out to me at HebaH Design. That's my handle on all of the social medias. And today we are going to be talking about Anxiety in Wonderland. This is actually the cover of Katya's book, and she represents herself as Alice being in this wonderland that it is her anxiety. The animation is actually done by Adam, but I have, again, technical difficulties. This is a PDF. Me and Howard will show you guys some of the animations that we've worked on just to showcase kind of like a full-rounded experience between illustrator, animator, and UX UI designer. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, hi James, feel free to leave them in the chat. And for now, if you have anything that you want to talk about, also about your experience with mental health or anxiety, let us know in the chat and we'll talk about it. We want this to be an open conversation.
Yep.
All right, so first thing I did was open up XD. I chose the biggest artboard for web design, and Katya actually sent me a file that has all of her illustrations. Then she named all of the pages that we have. It's going to be a single page website, and at the end we're going to have a big call to action. And today what we're going to talk about the breakdown of the storytelling that happens in the site and why we chose the different topics along the way.
Nice. And do you typically, when you're starting web projects, do you start as large as you can, or is it vary by project?
So it depends. So for web and responsive, I try to accommodate for the largest screen. Usually I will have a actual layout grid, but for today, you guys will see, because it's kind of like a wild animal. I wanted to keep it wild. You will see. And so there isn't that many rules, but it helps because it's graphic heavy. You know? So when we hand off to the developers, we give them the different pieces and then they'll put them together. They will organize the layout itself. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
And do you feel like this one going to be one of these projects that you have to work more closely with the developer because it's so wild and there's so many graphics and there's animated elements going all over the place?
Yeah, I mean, collaboration is very important. So having that open communication is very important too. We are very close with our developers. That is an ongoing conversation. If you are providing them with something that's like this, that is like this, I think it's good to give them at least some kind of boundary. So telling them it's, you know, a 12-column grid that they can at least base off of their work, that would be good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The first thing I did actually before Katya sent me her graphics is her and I talked about the project. We talked about what it is that we want to do. And then she was like, okay, what is it that you need, right? And I actually built a quick wireframe. So maybe I should just pull up the wireframe so we can talk about it, and then we could... Okay.
I would love to see this because, you know, when you're looking at a wireframe for a project like this, because I've seen sort of the final result.
Yeah.
They never obviously look the same, right?
Yeah.
Because a wireframe is such a stripped down version, but I feel it's so important because if you're gonna just dive into XD or whatever it is that you're designing this in, and just start, you know, piecing things together, the high fidelity stuff, it's not gonna look. It's gonna take you probably double the time because you don't know where things are gonna go, right?
Yeah.
So I think a wireframe is so important like this, is to really figure out what's gonna go in different areas and how things are gonna kind of be structured.
Yeah, and the whole purpose of a landing page is to sell something, right? So you don't have to worry about navigation unless it's a complicated product that you're selling.
Right.
You know, but this is a book, so we don't need to worry about navigation up top. We just need to focus our energy on selling this product. So how can we tell a story that's going to entice you and kind of attract you into selling this book? right? So the first thing that we wanted to do is present the name. The name itself is very captivating because it has a reference to Alice in Wonderland, and anxiety is a big topic. And then some of the things that Katya sent me her book. So I got to read it. I got to see the style that she was creating the illustrations in. I got to kind of, think about, okay, what are the different characters? What do they represent for her? So I wanted to capture some of those elements and place them onto this landing page, right? So the first thing I wanted to do is on the hero, we wanted something that will attract your attention. So one of the most important things that I thought was very interesting is this statistic: is 1 of 3 people are directly affected by mental health conditions like anxiety or depression. And if you guys remember the movie, it starts off with Alice. She's kind of like, in this fairyland, like not fairyland, like the real world. She's kind of like lost and she's trying to figure out her voice. But then she sees the rabbit. And then the rabbit kind of takes her on this journey throughout the movie. So we wanted to replicate something that is similar to the arc of the movie.
You just spoiled the movie, by the way.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sure most of you have seen the movie.
Look at you taking me off guard. So I represented, circles, because I'm not going to sit there and like draw Alice, obviously. That is Katya's specialty. Simple elements to showcase to Katya what it is that I need. So on the main page, I thought it would be interesting to have Alice and then the rabbit taking you in transition to the next section. One of the other characters that Katya kind of represents as her anxiety is the queen. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about what it is, what's anxiety. This is where you're building the tension of the story. Again, the rabbit showcases itself as it's walking you through the transition of the page. And then Katya was telling me that the cat represents how, like, its effect on people. And then finally, the caterpillar is her safety net.
I love the caterpillar.
Yeah, me too.
Such a friendly thing.
It represents wisdom in the book, and it represents like resolution in her book. So in her book, actually, the caterpillar represents her grandpa, who was a source of wisdom for her.
I like that. I like the personal touch.
Yeah, me too. I think you guys really need to go read her book. You guys can get it on Amazon Kindle for free and Amazon for $24.99. Nice. She made it very accessible because she's very passionate about this topic. So like you're telling a story, you start off with something very interesting, you build up the tension, you have the climax, and then you create a resolution. And in here, the resolution is the wisdom, and then finally the call to action, which is buy the book. Yep. So I sent her this. That's all I sent her. And then she went and created a masterpiece. Yeah.
As one does.
As one does, yeah. So when she sent me, I told her, Katya, please send me scribbles. I need to see what you have so I can just represent them on the page. So she did that for me, and then she refined her scribbles into actual beautiful illustrations that, if you haven't seen, she actually showcases them in the hour before.
Yeah, definitely go watch that stream.
Yes.
I think it was started at 9 o'clock this morning. Go watch that. It's really cool stuff. 9:30, sorry.
Yes. And so on page 1, what I'm going to start doing is just plopping all those elements onto our page. She asked me, Heba, do you want PNGs or SVGs? I asked for both, just for flexibility. So if I needed to change certain colors or elements on the page, I asked her to send me SVGs. And for PNGs, it works perfectly. So this is the background that she gave me for page 1. One of the things that I noticed that the illustration that she created is not the same pixel size as what I need. So there's 2 ways of handling this. You can create a shape and put it on top of it. That's something that I usually find myself doing a lot. So I will create a shape. And then you can mask it.
Yeah, so on the Mac, it's under the object menu.
Okay.
There it is.
Mask with shape. Mask with shape. And then voila. So now you can extend this background, the artboard, and the background stays within the mask itself.
Yep.
Okay. What's really beautiful about XD that I haven't seen in any other software is that it shows you where the break line is. So this is above the fold, and then everything else is below the fold. This is the background that she's given me. Now I need to add all the other elements on here. You want to check the chat if anybody has questions so far?
Someone earlier did ask more of a general question, but how do you get into web and app design? How did you get into it?
I am a self-taught UX designer. I started off as an architect, and then I went into graphic design school once the housing market crashed. And then I learned about this new thing called UX UI, and there wasn't really that many programs that taught it at the time. So I had to do my own research. And our graphic design program, our professor was very flexible, and he took our feedback for what we wanted to, what projects we wanted to do in the future. So one of the things that we asked for is we wanted to create an app. That was a project that he gave us. He gave us 1 week to build a full app.
Oh boy.
That is insane, okay? So I loved that project. I found that I was very natural at it. The designs that I created were very intuitive. I've noticed that naturally I was able to put elements on the page that were easy to use and readable. So once I started digging more deep into it, I started to learn more of what is UX, what is UI. I was making decisions that I didn't understand why I was making, but I was mimicking the actual apps that I was using. And then once I started learning and doing more of my own projects, I noticed that I started to understand the reasons behind the decisions I was making. You know what I mean? Yep. So, but now there's a lot of programs out there. There's cognitive science. That's a great program that is taught in one of the universities in San Diego. I'm sure there's other private schools that focus on. Hi, Emily. That focus on UX UI specifically. But what I do recommend is if you're going to get into UX UI, don't just focus on the science of it. Do take some graphic design classes to learn how to understand color theory and depth and shapes, because I feel like that actually makes you a better UX designer. Yeah,
100%, because there are definitely times where the user experience, the flow of an application could be really well thought out and easy to navigate through. But if the color of a button is wrong, if it's red instead of blue, that can send a completely different message to the user and just mess up everything. So yeah, I completely agree. It's definitely a good idea to have some sort of understanding of color theory and all the other basics of graphic design. And if you're not in a position where you can attend a school or a community college or whatever it might be, there are a ton of resources online that teach some of this stuff either for free or for a relatively affordable price.
Yes. So Howard, what is the shortcut for bringing an element forward or back?
So it's a command and then the square bracket keys.
Okay, cool. So those are always, if you guys notice, I have an element that's chosen and it's moving up and down. So that takes it one step forward. So it's the bracket and the command key.
And if you add in shift, then it'll go straight to the front or straight to the back.
Nice. So this went all the way to the back. Now it's all the way to the front.
Yeah.
Sure. I know Katya was speaking about the shortcuts, the keys that she uses, because she says the one thing that makes her fast is the fact that she uses all of the short keys.
Yeah.
And Katya is really fast. If you guys saw her designing, she literally, when I sent her the wireframes, she sent me back all of the 5 pages in half an hour.
Ooh.
I freaked out. I was like, "You're done?" She's like, "Yeah, it took me 30 minutes." I'm like, "How?" She's like, "HebaH, trust me, short keys is everything."
Yeah, I love shortcuts. If you're not familiar with the shortcuts in XD, there's actually a plugin. I think it was made by Kenny, who is a designer on the XD team. And I think it's just called XD Shortcuts or Keyboard Shortcuts or something like that. And it'll list all the shortcuts for XD.
Yeah. So that's really good. And then I've seen products where they have the shortcuts onto your keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what they call the keyboard covers. There's some people that actually have the short keys on there, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
One other thing, don't laugh at me, everybody, but I realized after seeing Katya doing her magic, I was like, Katya, I just realized that when I'm typing, I use like 4 fingers. That's it. It's so sad.
That's not bad. I mean, if it works.
That's it, you know? Because I was looking at her, I was like, she has her keys, the keyboard covered with just a graphic. You don't see letters.
Oh, right.
And I was like, how are you writing? How are you doing anything? And she's like, HebaH, like I have it memorized. What do you mean? Like I don't need anything to show me. So I was like, wow, that's beautiful. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm putting together the different pages. And you and I talked about, in order for us to animate, let's do different artboards. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, let's.
Well, let's build a full page.
Let's do the full thing, just so you can kind of see how it flows all together.
Yeah.
And then what I was thinking is for the animation phase, just to kind of really show, because at the moment XD doesn't have scroll triggers.
Yeah.
So as you're scrolling down the page, the animation, there's no way to kick off the animations at a certain time. But there are ways to fake it, right? So if you do have it built as an entire artboard, you can essentially use auto animate that will, as the kind of the group will go up, then the animations will take place.
Yeah.
But you can also build things out as separate artboards, and then you can animate between the 2, 3, 5, whatever you have, using time triggers.
Yeah, which I think that animation is one of my weakest points. I tried After Effects. Yeah, I love XD's auto animate. It is the simplest. Like conceptually, makes it very simple. So I love that you guys have that, which is brilliant. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm breaking up the pages, and the way that we are breaking up pages, we're breaking them up with color. So Katya has given me the color as a color block, so I can either put it as an image or actually put it as a shape. So in order for me to grab that color, I just sample it and it puts it in here for me. I want to make sure that the pages don't have, make sure that there's no border, so it is seamless transition. So I'm gonna get rid of this, and then any textures that she's given me, I'm gonna start to add to the page itself. So the reason we did this in such like dark, intense colors is because when she was telling me about like when she is anxious, she feels like she's in this like black hole, and then it starts to get lighter and lighter as you go down the page, and then it becomes like this really fun, vibrant color, which I'm really excited about showing you guys.
Jabal is asking about dark mode. Do you like dark mode in applications?
No,
you don't. It's a very hit or miss thing. I like dark mode. I would love to see dark mode in Adobe XD, but just to answer the question, because he's asking, is dark mode in the talks? And I'm assuming he's referring to Adobe XD. It's a very complicated thing. It's not as easy as some people think. It's not, you just don't go into the graphic files and turn down the brightness. Especially when you're working at a large company like Adobe who has design systems and there's teams that manages those design systems. You have to be in sync with all of them. But also it comes down to priorities. So, if we were to ask 10 designers, do you want hover and states or do you want dark mode? Probably 9 out of 10 are going to say hover, right?
Yes.
Do you want better control over your animations, or do you want dark mode? It's going to be the animations.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of features that we're working on that definitely take priority over something like dark mode. So maybe we'll probably get to it at some point when some of those bigger priority features are tackled and in the wild and feeling really good. But for now, it's probably not as much as I would love it. It's probably not the biggest priority.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like I don't see the benefit of dark mode. I feel like it's just like a personal preference. It's
it mostly is.
You like red, I like green,
Right.
So, but I've spoken to a few people that talked about that in dark mode, the reason they like it is because it actually emphasizes the focus, brings a focus to the work itself.
Right.
I don't see that.
Yeah, in some cases it does, and I think for me the biggest benefit of dark mode is if I'm working at night. I don't have this blinding interface shining in my face, which I get. But again, it's probably not a priority feature over something like hover, which I'm going to be using on a daily basis.
Yeah. Okay, so keep track. This is where
things are getting wild.
Things are getting real wild, if you guys notice. When I sent Katya my if you guys notice the wireframe, I actually showcased where the text is going to be. So what she's did is she compensated for the space for where the text is going to live with these like portions right here, like these blobs. And also we talked about like how do we bring emphasis to certain characters. So she's made sure that there is a high contrast in color so that your eye is actually, moving through the page. I wanted to mention something else I forgot, but maybe you can answer another question while like my train of thought is.
So Jamal is also asking about animation system like Studio. I can't get into specifics, but the team is definitely going to be working on more animation controls going forward. Of course, we do have States, which includes Hover coming out this year. And then I'm sure going forward, there'll be other magical animation features, but nothing to announce yet.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what I want to say. This is where what I love about this page is it's a landing page. Yep. What's really cool about landing pages is that you have a lot more creative freedom, because it's a one-off page and you get to like kind of explore different things. But you have to keep track of your layers.
Yes. Please.
And the reason, so Katya could have just given me this background as a single layer, right? She could have just given it to me as like one single layer and I could have plopped it as a background. But I told her, I was like, I really want us to play around with animation, either as you scroll or as you interact with the page. So I asked her to send me different layers for the PNGs.
Yep.
So that's why I'm actually, if you guys can see, like I'm building everything together. I'm gonna build the pages first and then we can talk about typography and we can talk about choosing the type and choosing the type size and placement of like the type hierarchy on the page in order for you to move through the page. Does that make sense?
It does.
Cool.
And I have an interesting question.
Sure.
And it kind of falls probably into the user experience of something very specific to this is, there's a lot going on in this page, right?
Yeah.
And it's focused on anxiety. Yeah. And I totally understand that it's trying to convey what anxiety is.
Yeah.
But is there a possibility that if there's too much on this page that it can actually induce anxiety?
Yeah, okay, so if this was an educational page, this wouldn't work.
Right.
Because you are attracting, you're trying to attract a customer who wants to learn, or a user who's trying to learn more about anxiety, and there's gonna be a lot of triggers. But because this is a promotional page for her book, so we wanted to bring out as many elements of her book to kind of like attract you to it and let the illustrations kind of bring in the emotions that you're feeling so that you can actually feel what the book is then, attract you to buying it. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Cool. That's a great question, by the way.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead. All right. So if you guys noticed here, the elements on the page, they transition. So why it's so beautiful that she uses PNGs is because if you notice on the top of the page right here and on the bottom, they transition from one page to the next.
Nice.
I was talking to her about like building the background in a gradient, or should we use solid colors? But because she has all of these brush strokes, it felt like it would be enough for it to break the solid background that it's living on.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. We have Alice. I know.
We've got 5 seconds until sticker time.
Oh my God. Are you guys, how excited are you guys? I love Sticker Mule. Yep. It's a great way if you have like a nice, like for me, for my business card, I use like a card, but it's more of a keepsake.
Yeah.
And it's an art piece, so stickers is great for something like that.
Totally. And when we come back, we're just going to take a very quick break. What should we ask them?
What should we ask them?
Yeah.
Let's talk about colors and what emotions they entice for you.
Ooh,
so tell us what your favorite color is and what kind of emotion it sparks up.
All right, we'll be right back.
Yay!
And we're back. So let us know in the chat what your favorite color is and how it entices your emotion, or just smash your keyboard and do some stuff. And
I'll just like move around and show you guys the beauty that's on my head.
there you go. That's a fancy.
Yeah.
I need one of those.
I know. So Katya actually put together the one that she was wearing. She first started making mine like that one, and I was like, I will get lost. Like, I can't have it like all the way up here. So she then customized this one for me, which is nice.
Julian says blue is accessible, and actually Julian's going to be on stream with me tomorrow talking about accessibility and trust, which is fun. Antonio says yellow gives me positivity. I agree.
Oh.
Red is vibrant. Turquoise.
Best color is teal. Teal is an interesting color.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite color is sparkle.
Sparkle? Is that an actual color?
I don't know.
Oh, or anything that sparkles.
Anything that sparkles. I am a girl through and through. My skin is shimmering at the moment.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, so, you know.
Nice.
Glitter everywhere.
And Chintan Patel, you just won 100 stickers from Sticker Moon. Congratulations. So you can design stickers with all the colors, and maybe not all of them. I don't know if you hate some colors.
That would be a nice one, is putting, you know, different colors based off the emotions that the person kind of enticed in you as you give it to them. Yeah. And they'd be like, contact me, you spark joy.
Yeah. Or if you hate them, give them a red one with a fake phone number.
Well, they don't need to know. Oh my God. Or black.
Yeah.
No. All right. So we are back.
Oh yeah, by the way, if you did not win, I'm just putting Paco to work. It's going to bring up something else.
Okay, cool.
If you go to stickermule.com/Adobe Live 19, you get 10 stickers for $1, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Paco.
Thank you, Paco. All right, if you guys notice that I am looking at putting each element one by one on the page, because I'm thinking and doing at the same time, and that is sometimes not the funnest thing to do. Okay. But you have to do it, right?
Of course.
All right, so the idea here, and I'm gonna get rid of this one. The idea that Katya told me, again, we are talking animation, illustration, and UX UI. So when Katya gave this to me, she told me, Heba, like, I want Alice to look like she's coming out of the cards. So that was really interesting. I thought that was pretty cool. So
you know what's gonna be really cool? I'm just kind of thinking forward a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, when co-editing is available, we'll be able to edit this document at the same time. I can work on the prototype, you can work on the design.
Yeah.
Andrew Shorten on Twitter. If you're not following Andrew Shorten, go to twitter.com/ashorten. He posts the sneaks for upcoming features. And I've been testing co-editing lately, and it's so cool. You can have a bunch of your team members in your document at the same time. You can be designing, someone could be copy editing, I can be prototyping, and it's just all magical, right?
Wow, I love that.
That'd be
so,
cool.
Okay, so it's super cool what you're saying, but it's a great way to like troll your friends and your coworkers, because like we're all working on the same document, and then you're just like changing stuff.
Well, hopefully they're not doing that. But me and another, I don't know if I can mention his name because he's under NDA, but we were just trash talking each other.
Oh God.
Just live text, just trash talking each other.
God.
It was great.
I love it. It sometimes, you know, that's another thing. Oops, actually, I flipped it. Did you guys add the flip feature on here?
I think earlier this year.
Okay, yeah, that's great, because I was looking for it last time I was here, which was January.
Yeah,
And it
might have been
available,
after that.
But there was a hack. And then now it's available. So thank you so much, Adobe.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'll take credit for it.
Cool. All right, so if you guys notice, we're telling a story here. Alice is between the different cards. She sees the bunny, and then the bunny's gonna start to take her through the journey,
Nice.
right? So we're building the story right now. We have about an hour, right? So I'm gonna continue to build the different pages, and then if I start to see that we're running out of time, then what I'll do is we can start talking typography. Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
And Jimmy's pointing out your headpiece.
Thank you.
And actually, Jimmy, the headpiece that Heba's wearing right now was created by Katya this morning.
We had a girls' like slumber party yesterday. That was fun.
Nice.
Actually, I've known Katya for about 3 years,
Okay.
2016, I think. So what is that? 3 years? Yeah, 3 years. We actually met at a conference. She was speaking at that conference, and she was wearing a very similar headpiece on her head, and I fell in love with it, and she replicated it for me. So
Wow.
I feel very, very, very lucky. Okay. So, if you guys were a part of the live stream this morning when Katya was building illustrations, this is what she built. So she showed you guys how to put elements, the shapes together. She likes to work between Photoshop and Illustrator. So some of the backgrounds with the brushes, if you guys notice, they are Photoshop, and any characters she's done with Illustrator, and she's exported them as SVG. So this was the character that she's created in the live stream. So if you're interested in seeing how she did that, make sure to watch her replay. Okay?
The cat does not look happy.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, she's holding yeah, those knives. They're scary. Nice. Again, I'm resizing everything to fit within the canvas that I am.
I love these backgrounds.
I
These brush strokes, they just look very painterly.
And they express a lot of emotion,
They do.
which I love. So, okay. As you can see, the elements are starting to come together. I'm playing around with the size as well, just to see how I want everything to be overlapped. I feel like I did something wrong. Could I have done something wrong? No, this
It's all
is
part
right.
of design.
Yep. No, this is
We all do
accurate.
things wrong, but we learn from those
Yeah.
wrong things.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm just trying to think of where is the text on this page, and then where is the is the page? Oh, duh. I'm like trying to move the object
Oh, the
below,
artboard's not
and the
long enough.
artboard is not in there. No wonder. I'm like, why isn't it working?
There we go.
Work with me. Okay, perfect. So now it's all the way in the back. There you go. That's what I was trying to do.
Much better.
A lot better. Okay. Yeah, if anybody has any stories they want to share in the chat, some stuff that are fun to listen to are, oh goodness. So maybe share with us stories about handoffs. Talk to us about how you collaborate with your illustrators. Who starts? Is it usually the UX designer or the illustrator? Any problems with clients? How do you solve those? Share in the chat and we can discuss.
Client stories are always fun to hear.
Yes.
Because there's so many things that can go wrong with clients. And with a project like this, I can imagine, of course, knowing Katya and everything, it's probably a lot easier. But if this was a project between a random client and yourself and an illustrator, I can imagine a lot of things going south.
Yeah. But I think, communication is key, like we said. I'm gonna use the help tool. I love the help tool because I don't know where flip is at. So the fact that I can type it in here and then it just shows it. Okay, there you go.
Yep.
It shows this to me. I think that's brilliant. I love it. Okay, so let's see. How did I do this? Okay, perfect. I have a cheat sheet, so if you guys see me looking to the side, it's because I do.
That's okay.
Only because we don't have that much time, and I'm trying to build as much as possible for you guys. I think I like this background a lot better than this one for this page, so we're just gonna stick with that.
So Jack says, I'm the illustrator and the UX designer where I work. So both. And Jack is actually going to be on stream with me on Wednesday and Thursday. I'm super excited.
Of this week?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Jack makes some amazing.
You're gonna love it, Jack.
Yeah.
Actually, at my job, we have a UI designer who does a lot of illustrations, but does UI work and UX work. So sometimes you kind of have to be a jack of all trades. Jack?
A jack of all trades.
Jack.
See what you did there.
Yeah, I know. Okay, cool. So that's page. How many pages? So 1, 2, 3. All right, we have 2 more pages to build. 4. I know it looks wild, you guys. Just bear with me.
And do you typically, based on either your work experience or people who you've worked with, does one person typically tackle the UI and UX, or does one person tackle the UI, one person tackles the UX, and how does that kind of work out?
It depends where you're working.
Yeah.
Right? So some companies they can afford to have a UX designer, a UI designer, a researcher, and some of them don't. So it just really depends on the job that you're at. My company and my team is actually, we all have different talents. So we are all, for example, my biggest strong suit currently is UX. But I do have UI and graphic design experience. So as long as you are familiar with it, understand it, and can do it, then you would be a perfect fit for our team. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But I rely heavily on our UI designers. So I ask Lucinda a lot of questions. Lucinda is the senior UI designer at my company, and I'll ask her a lot of questions. I'll be like, Lucinda, I built this, I put this together for you. Do you think this would work well with what we're putting together or no? And then she can give me advice on, okay, this is not a pattern that we have. Maybe this is a pattern we should introduce. Maybe we need to reel it down a little bit. So it just depends. And then she'll ask me a lot of questions about UX, like, HebaH, I think we need to do this, that, or the other. Okay, there it is. I'm looking for my mushroom. Woo!
Nice.
That is huge.
It's a big mushroom.
That is a big mushroom.
Although the mushroom, if I'm not mistaken, in Alice in Wonderland was pretty big.
It was, yeah. And the caterpillar was... Really? Be nice to me. Oh, okay. That's why. I'm using the wrong element. Okay, so layers. The reason why I mentioned layers is so that you don't struggle like I struggled right now. So if you have them all nicely organized, which I'm not doing right now, I don't have time to do that right now, but keep your layers organized, especially if you have PNGs, on top of one another, because it'll help you kind of figure out which ones you're working with, which elements you're working with.
Totally.
Okay, so if you notice, she created a leaf for me, and that's to add depth. So what I was telling Katya, I was like, Katya, what I want to do is, as you're scrolling down the page or as you're interacting with the page, for different elements to come in and out. So that's basically why she's created like this leaf.
Nice. Amelia's saying, I worked on HebaH's team, and she was great at bringing out people's greatest strengths.
Oh, hi, Em. I miss you. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, Amelia's amazing. Amelia has multiple superpowers, so we were very lucky to have her. Okay, cool. So page 5, this one. I'm gonna pull the orange color.
It's a nice color. From
this page. If you guys notice, we started off dark and we're slowly getting cheery. So we're using colors for our advantage to tell our story. Okay, cool. And on here, I want the blob to be separate. And then we can explain to you guys later when we start playing around with the animation, right? Cool. I love that you guys, you're testing some of the new features that they're gonna be showcasing in XD.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff coming up.
Do you have an estimated date of delivery?
We usually say when they're ready. Of course, we're aiming, for certain features, we're aiming for max. But if they're not ready, they're not ready, right?
Yeah.
But I can confirm the features that Andrew has sneaked. I can't confirm when they're coming. But blend modes are coming.
Nice.
Which are nice. I think blend modes will probably help in a design like this, probably. Yeah. Blend modes are coming. Co-editing is coming. We talked about that a little bit.
Okay.
Smart layouts is coming, which is going to be really cool. So you can have a button, and as you change the text in a button, it gets larger and smaller. And then it doesn't just focus on a button, it's also an entire layout. So if you have a card of information, you move elements around, the background of that card will also get bigger, smaller, whatever it might be.
Oh, wow.
Which is really cool. What else let me just make sure. I'm gonna double check because I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to give away things I shouldn't be giving away.
Don't.
So yeah,
but what are they excited about seeing in the future?
Yeah, I would like to know that
chat.
too. Most of you are probably gonna say hover, which is coming. So states and hover, I was actually playing with that this morning. Those are coming. Multiple triggers are also coming, so that's mostly for prototyping. So at the moment, if you want a drag trigger, right, you would need 2 separate elements for drag and then tap.
Okay.
But with multiple triggers, you'll be able to hook up multiple triggers to a single element. So you can have drag to one artboard and then another trigger from the same object to another artboard, which will be fun.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
You'll also have the ability to resize elements a little bit easier. So right now you can just like drag, right? Or you can like enter values to the right. But you'll be able to hold down Control and Shift and then just press your arrow keys to resize elements. Either 10 pixels or 1 pixel at a time, which is nice.
Nice.
What else did he confirm? There's blend modes. Yeah, I think that's about it that we've confirmed. But of course, there's a lot more in the works.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, I'm excited for the future of XD. Not just the immediate future, but also the long-term future.
Okay, so I see what she did here. Okay, so again, this is the brilliance of Katya. I'm like, why is there a tush only showing? Can you guys tell that I have kids? I just said tush.
A tush, yeah.
Oh my god. But it's basically because she's gonna have the bunny behind she's scared, so the bunny is behind the bush. All right, so let's bring this guy to the front.
A lot of people are excited for hover and states.
Yay.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. I saw you playing around with them. They were pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so I'm gonna preview some of this so that we can take a look at what it looks like. And this is the page. So if you guys notice, we still don't have text, but if you guys notice, like when it's a full screen, it actually works. We have the bunny. It shows you that there is more to, okay, you can't see the bunny because he's behind me, but it shows you that you can scroll. You see the story that he's telling. You start to see this scary character and Alice freaking out. We can play a little bit more by like adding shadows and stuff to make her pop more. You see the bunny's scared, and then you see how it affects her and the cat character and how the bunny's sad now. And then he's taking, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip him because it looks a little funny. Like I need to bring you back into the page. And then we see that she's, working through it. And now she has this guidance and she feels a lot happier. And then finally, we're gonna end with the book here.
I really love the colors, that they just kind of flow from dark to light. And it's just really, it becomes very bright and happy.
Yeah, and I think what's really nice about this is it is a book. So we are telling a story. It's a web interactive story. The vision is that this would be an interactive experience. So that's something that we could play around with. All right. So if you guys notice, the way I did the preview is I clicked on that play button. So if you click on the play button, you can see the actual prototype because it is a desktop, so it's showcasing as a desktop. But if you're on a mobile experience, then a little mobile would show. And then what's really cool about mobile is you can actually record and you interacting with that prototype, which is really cool.
And if you have a device plugged into your computer or you're using cloud documents, you can open up the XD app on your phone and interact with it just like you would a normal app.
Thank you, Eric. Yes, it's very deep. So again, Katya shared with me her color palette, and we played around with it. She kept it simple, so with typography, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something really cool right now. So I'm going to type in Alice. Oh, my caps lock is on. Okay, be nice. All right. And I'm gonna make this as big as possible. So we are going to increase the size From 20, let's do 100 just for the sake. Okay. So what I've done here, let's do, we want white. All right. So I'm going to go so you guys can see, and I'm going to actually use Google. Is it safe, Paco, to open up Chrome? All right. So we're going to use Google, and we're going to see Alice in Wonderland. We're not going to use the same typeface, but I do want to see the way it's handled. So if you guys notice here, how do I make this bigger? Let's see if it'll let me see. Okay, it doesn't like me. I can zoom in, right? Okay. So the typeface here is a little funky, but the one next to it is a little bit more structured. I feel like the funky is interesting, but the page is already wild, right. So we need something to contrast it and like push it back. Okay, this typeface is not that bad. Okay, so it looks like we are going to be looking for a typeface that has high contrast. It's a serif font, and then we're going to need a script font. Okay, so what we do, and what's really cool here, is we go to our Creative Cloud, we look for font, and then browse all fonts. Yep,
and also one more thing, I don't know if we can show it off today, but if you use if there's a very specific style of font that you have in mind, the Adobe Capture app, what you can do is open that up on your phone, point it at an existing text like the Alice in Wonderland, and it'll show you very similar fonts on Adobe Fonts, and you can just sync it right to your computer.
Paco, do you mind switching our location to the right, just so that I can show off this bar? Take your time. Thank you so much. Okay, so once you guys click on the font section, I love this so much.
Yeah, it's so cool to just narrow down.
So much easier, and I like that it's a graphic representation. So not a lot of people understand what serif means.
Right.
You know what I mean? What is sans serif? So for somebody who's self-taught, I went to graphic design school, but I still had to learn what those mean. But for somebody who's self-taught, and a lot of you guys who are watching are self-taught, right? What I love about Adobe, it caters to the up-and-coming designers. So if you notice, it explains to you what is a slab serif, script font, black letter, so on and so forth. And then it also showcases the different properties of typography that you can actually filter using. So what we said, we are looking for a serif font. We want it for headings. We need it to be regular weight. The X height is fine. We need high contrast. And it can be all caps, but I think I'm gonna stick to just the stuff that I have. And then they have the different language and marketplaces, but this is good for the searches that I'm looking for. So the typeface that I need, let's see which one. If you guys see one that you're interested in, just let me know. So if you find one that you think would be nice for the word Alice, okay. So I'm gonna put the word Alice in here. I'm gonna do Alice, all caps, and Alice title, which is, I forget what it's called, title something. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Just so I can see what it looks like in the two different styles, right? So I'm starting to notice some structure. Okay, let's go to the next page. If you notice, all I had to scroll through is 2 pages, so it's not a lot.
Yeah, once you start narrowing down exactly what you're looking for, it cuts out.
So
you can start with like 500 pages or something like that.
Yeah, and then 2 pages. I'd rather search through 2 pages than 500 pages.
That's true.
Okay. So, Big Caslon seems interesting. Esonis, am I saying that correctly? Esonis sounds very fun. I liked the spacing between the letters. I also like the way that the small letter C is working. So I'm going to view family. All right, look how easy this is.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to try to set up Adobe Capture just so we can try it. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but
and then
we will try.
And then you can look up can you look up the typeface that's here? because I love this typeface, and it's an
Awesome.
Adobe font. So
Okay, we'll try that out.
we're gonna show you guys. So these are my reference pages, and then he's gonna test it out for me. But
That'd be interesting.
it's gonna be so simple to activate those fonts, and I don't have to download usually what I do is I download the fonts, and then I open up my font book, and then I upload them into font book. This is the easiest thing ever. So it says here headline, display, or text. So for me, it's either gonna be headline or display. So I'm just gonna activate both. And what's beautiful about it is now that I've done that, I just go back in here and I click on the typeface, and it was called Isonas. Look, it's right there. There you go. That's it. It's activated. I didn't have to do anything else. Okay, so we are not writing Alice. We are writing anxiety. And if I misspell anxiety,
Blame the anxiety.
anxiety. Did I misspell it? Google, my best friend.
I think you got it.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. All right, so anxiety, since it is I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. Okay, just so I can have a feel. All right, anxiety, and then it's gonna be in, but I think I want in by itself. And then Wonderland is going to be the funky typeface, the script typeface. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back into Adobe. You're gonna do fonts again, browse all fonts, and we are going to be looking for a script font. And I think we want it to be high contrast as well. And we want it to say Wonderland.
Oh yeah, Thushar is also pointing out that XD does have autocorrect. So if you were wrong, it would just squiggle.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah.
The anxiety of it all. Okay, let's see. Regular weight.
So while you're narrowing those down,
Yeah.
let's try this out.
Cool.
Again, I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna try it.
fine.
We're gonna try Adobe Capture to detect text. So here we have on my phone over here, and I'm gonna open up Adobe Capture.
Nice.
And Capture is one of these applications that a lot of people don't know exists, but it can create materials, it can check type, and create shapes, colors, looks, patterns, brushes. It's crazy. There's just so much in this application. But I'm gonna go to type, and I'm going to point this at a line of text like this. I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna make sure that that text is highlighted as it is. Press OK. And let's see what happens. So it's gonna basically analyze that text at the top and give me Adobe fonts that are similar.
Oh my God.
They probably won't be identical,
Yeah.
because that font is probably a proprietary custom-made font, but that one's not too bad.
No.
And you can just scroll and you can sync them directly. You can also change the text to Alice.
Give me
or I
the
guess
name.
Anxiety. Anxiety. Done. And there you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then you can just select them and just save them. And
Escrow banner. Escrow banner. Do me a favor.
Yep.
And
this one's really nice. This mush cramp.
Yeah.
Mush cramp.
That one, I have seen that somewhere. Okay. Escrow banner. Nice. So I just found escrow banner.
Nice.
View family.
And let's also do, because you wanted to see if this one,
Yes.
we're going to cancel
Please.
this. And this one right here, you take a screenshot or a picture of that. It automatically highlighted the text. I'm going to press OK.
Nice. I'm so fascinated. Can you tell? Like, I'm just staring.
Look at that one's pretty close.
Yeah.
Is that?
No, it's it.
That might be it.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. Look at the T.
Yeah.
It's identical.
It is it.
So there you go. Parkinson Roman. That's kind of fancy.
Yeah. So I can do Parkinson. And the typeface that I would love for you to find is this one.
The Wonderland one?
Yeah.
All right, let's
Because
try
that one is pretty cool.
Let's get right in here. Focus.
Oops, I spelled that wrong.
All right. Let's see if that one works.
There you go.
It's a bunch of letters, so I'm going to just change this to
Okay.
Wonderland. make sure we have a capital W. Done. Done.
There it
Ooh.
is.
That first one's pretty close. It's not perfect because there's not that little loop in the W.
Ooh, I like that one.
Which one?
That one's really pretty.
The first one?
The Rosarian.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty. Ooh, that one's pretty
Lust.
too. And the one under it.
Oh, this one's pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh, that's also Rosarian.
It's R.
Huh.
Okay.
I guess that's the one you're going to go with.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's really neat.
It's so cool. Okay, so we are downloading it. 2 fonts, perfect. All right, so it's Rosarian, perfect. There you go. All right, and then some of the other stuff that we were talking about is, okay, the title could be our focus, right?
Yep.
But I don't think the title is a focus. The title of the book is great. That's what we're trying to sell. But I think the most important thing is the information in the book. You know, that's going to be enticing. What just happened? Why? I don't want that. Okay. Let's make this, I don't know, 60. Let's play around with the type.
Mind blown. Yeah, Adobe Capture. If you haven't downloaded Adobe Capture yet, download it, because again, it's not just for type. You can create your own patterns, repeatable patterns. If you're a brush artist, that helps too. You can, if you do 3D stuff, you can, like Adriano's pointing out, you can create materials based on real world objects for your Adobe Dimension projects.
Can I get that, please?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I stole your paper.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Capture's really cool.
Content.
And it's free.
Content in UX. That's that's one of the hardest jobs ever. Okay. So right here, the most important thing on this page is the information that it's providing. Okay, that's a huge. Let's make this into 120. So it's not really the name of the book right now that's important. It's actually the value it's providing us. So
Right.
one of three people are directly affected by mental health conditions like anxiety and or depression. So I think that statistic is the most important statistic on here.
I like that statistic because it tells people when they're laying on this page.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine a lot of people, when they're dealing with a mental illness,
Yeah.
they think I'm the only person, or I'm the only person in my school or my job that's affected by this. But no, probably the person to your right or your person to your left is also dealing with it. It might not seem like it because some people are very good at hiding it, but there are things going on, and it's very important to understand that a lot of people deal with it, and it's not something you should be ashamed of. It's something that we all work through, and it's a lot easier to deal with it if you're open about it.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And it's crazy because 1 out of 3, that's a
big number.
we're 3 in this room.
Yeah.
So y'all figure
And
it
2
out.
of us are dealing with it.
I know.
So
So that's a lot,
yeah.
you know?
I don't know about Paco.
I don't know about Paco. I'm probably giving him anxiety right now. Okay, so another feature that is available in XD that's kind of cool when you're dealing with type is, I wrote this down, right? And it just built one long sentence and I need it into a paragraph. So all I have to do is, there's a small little, if you guys see on the way to the right, this the area text. I can just click on it and then it will actually provide me with those handles. I'm just gonna call them handles. And then I can shrink it down to whatever size I want. I can do that either here or I can actually do it in the menu, in the bar itself, like on the side.
Yep.
So I can choose whatever size I want. And then I can actually play around with the text style, center it, make it align it left or right. So that's kind of cool. And if I want to actually, so like, I like, rounded numbers. So if I want to make it into 900, then I can do that as well. And just display the, okay, now we have a widow.
No,
we don't want that.
No, we don't want that.
No.
And Jimmy's saying, I kind of want to use the color picker on HebaH's head right now.
Yay! Screenshot me. Here. Perfect. And then I want it to be, oops, wrong place. I want it to be centered on the page. I want everything to be centered on the page right now. Cool. So now the statistic is the most important part of this page. So 1 of 3 people are directly affected by mental health conditions like anxiety and or depression.
Yep.
That is the captivating element of this page. So somebody who lands on this page, they read that statistic, like I'm hooked. Like I want to know more. So now as I'm scrolling, the second page is going to talk about, what is anxiety, right? So let's talk about, now we have multiple typefaces on here. How do we make those into elements in our link assets, character styles? We're going to create this into a character style. Indeed. So this is 120. I don't think that is going to be the size that we want, but let's link it because it is a character style that we have. So if you notice, it gives you the typeface, the name of the typeface, and the size of the typeface. The next one is going to be our paragraph. So we can rename this, right? Rename to paragraph.
Did you want that as a component or a character style?
Oh, character style. Thank you so much. Made a mistake. Delete. And then I will add it here. There you go. So 50 points. Because this is like H1, it's the header up top on the main page. I believe that as we scroll down, we're going to have to create a little bit more conservative size, So I clicked option and I scrolled down. This is where my next piece of information going to live. I think that we need to take this size down to 24, maybe 36, because we have so much color on the page. We need the text to either be bolder or bigger so that it's readable, right? Yeah. And white on yellow is not ADA compliant.
No, it's tough.
So Ryan in the chat is probably going to yell at me right now. So let's increase the contrast. Okay, so Katya talked about black. And she talked about how black, like true black, 0000 it sucks the soul out of you. So instead of using pure black, let's use the closest to black. And she recommended actually going 10%, up to 10% away from black. But instead of just doing that, what I can do is just pull up whatever black she built.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And then we can add that to our color style. So these color styles, once we put the color styles together, I could send those to her, right? Using Creative CC, right? So
at the moment, you can't add colors. I could be wrong. Let me just double check. Because at one point you could not add colors to your Creative Cloud libraries, but let me double check just in case. But what you can also do is create, when you publish it for development, she'll be able to open up the developer spec sheet. And then she'll have access to your colors, character styles, components, all that fun stuff.
Nice.
But let me just double check.
All right.
Just in case, because it could be
cool. All right, if you notice that this text is still taking the elements of a paragraph. So what I want to do is, what's going on here? Be nice to me.
Yeah, so at the moment you cannot add colors to your Creative Cloud library. That might change in the future.
Cool.
But use developer specs for now.
Can you help me out? Where did the text components go?
Oh, I think because you created a component at some point, or it's in a group. So if you go back to your layer style, or your layers panel, let's see what's going on over there. Where are we? Yeah, so you have a group selected. So you'll want to dive into that group.
Okay.
And then select the text.
So why did it create it into a group?
You may have Command-G at some point, or when you created a component by mistake, when you ungrouped it or deleted the component, it may have popped into a group automatically.
Gotcha, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so now it's showing up. And the reason why I want to see this is because it's still treating it as a paragraph, and I need it to be not. I need it to be a header. So we'll use the same style as our subtext here, so that we can at least have something that's consistent and that we're using along the way.
Yep.
And then we'll make our paragraphs 36. And we need to write what is anxiety that is important to us. So we need to educate people on what is anxiety, and then talk about its effects on us and the people around us.
Totally.
So anxiety, based off of the DSM. So the DSM, if you guys don't know, it's kind of like the book that the professionals use to refer or like diagnose people. So you can go to their website. Let me see if I can pull it up because it's very important. DSM.
And while you're doing that, as Sam mentioned, there's about 20 minutes left to get your designs into Discord, so we can take a look at them. That's the teleporter app that Andrea was building, so I'm excited to see. I know there's only 2 hours, so we might not get very many, but I'm excited to see if there's any in there.
I'm curious how people are going to represent teleportation, because teleportation, I feel like, is a physical action.
I know.
You know what I mean?
But Andrea's super creative, so she somehow made it happen.
Yeah. So DSM is the American Psychiatric Association. That's DSM-5 is the latest book that they have.
Okay.
Based off of their definition of what anxiety is, it says it is the presence. I'm going to read this. The presence of excessive who uses the same word in a definition? The presence of excessive anxiety and worry about a variety of topics, events, or activities. Worry occurs more often than not for at least 6 months and is clearly excessive. So that would be the text that we'll put in here. Entertain them, Howard, as I type this down.
Okay, so let's hop over to my screen just so I can show you the Daily Creative Challenge landing page. Here we go. So this is kind of what Andrea has been working on the last 2 weeks. And we are currently on day number 5. And the task for today is to design a futuristic teleportation app. And if I go to Andrea's Twitter account, I believe she posted what she's going to be creating. And this is it here. So it's super creative. Andrea's just super creative. And it's an app to teleport. Go into Capri, Italy, as one does. Just teleport all over the place. Maybe one day this will be our future.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But the big question is, once you teleport yourself and it breaks you down into little molecules, are you the same person on the other side, or are you just someone who looks like you? Now we're getting really deep.
God. That's interesting.
Yeah, I know, right? I can think about this for days.
That's like when you upload your consciousness to a computer. Are you still you when you're downloaded, or
Yeah.
not?
Big questions.
Huge questions.
But yeah, you can also catch up on all of Andrea's previous challenges, and this one is to design an experience to monitor and control solar energy, which is kind of cool. Browsing experience for a fashion website, flowers and veggies, and then a quiz.
Nice.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
Cool. Let's see. I can't see the colors.
Jimmy says, Bill Nye didn't seem to think teleportation will be happening anytime soon. Yeah, I don't think it's certainly not going to be happening anytime soon. I know there's, quantum teleportation is starting, but that's just like little bits of information.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Not in my lifetime.
Yeah. Okay. So because we are running short on time, what I want to do is I'm just going to copy paste the components and just change the color, and then we can change the text another time.
Yep.
The content at least. But make sure that on here, this is at least I can write down what the title is. How anxiety. If you guys are good in grammar, is anxiety a noun? So is it capitalized or not? When I'm writing it down. Can affect.
I don't think so.
No, right?
Mm-mm. Unless it's title case, but I don't think it's capitalized.
So I've been writing it wrong this whole time. All right. You and your loved ones. So that's going to be the title. We're going to turn this to black because black would be better. And it's not going to be any black. It's going to be the one that we actually chose. So it's going to be this one.
What would be the traffic rules for teleportation?
Oh,
ooh, interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be. Would molecules bump into one another? Now you're getting me all curious.
I know. These are some interesting things to think about.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. And then we can talk about how you can get help. or where you can get help. And then if you guys are struggling through anxiety, the best place to go is, oh God, the hotline, Texas hotline.
Ooh.
Oh God, I gotta Google it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Texas hotline. Don't laugh at me, you guys. It's not Texas hotline, but just like Texas. Is it this one?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Katya, thank you. Okay, so where can people go for help?
I'm gonna.
Yes, please. I wrote Texas hotline. I know it's not the Texas hotline. I'm so bad.
So I've personally used this hotline. It is the Text Crisis Hotline. I think it's like textcrisishotline.org. And in America, they have the text number is 741-741.
There it is. Adam's got it.
There we go.
Thank you, Adam.
And my
Yay.
therapist gave it to me. Thank you, Adam. It is
go.
super fantastic. As you can see, there are also options in Canada and the UK. It is totally anonymous. They're there 24 hours for a whole bunch of different things like suicide and anxiety, bullying, a whole range of things. So these people are there for you. It's totally free. Please,
anonymous
please,
too,
please,
right?
please use it. It's anonymous as well. You are going to incur cellular fees. So keep that in mind. But
okay.
Some
If
people
it saves your
fantastic.
life, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes, just use it for therapy. It's cheaper than any app out there, even if it was cellular.
Yeah.
Fees,
And she
you know
just
what
used Andrea's app to teleport away.
I mean? She did. Bye-bye. Thank you. Okay.
And yes, as Andrew was saying, for those in the LGBT community, the Trevor Project's great as well.
The Trevor Project. Trevor Project. I'm gonna pull this up. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Andrew, so much. So yeah, these are great resources if you are struggling with any kind of mental health issue, until you actually, seek help from a health professional.
Right.
And please do so. Like, we love you guys, and I would want somebody to help me. I was going through a very hard time this year, and I definitely went and talked to somebody, and they give really good advice. So don't be ashamed of it. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
And a lot of times just talking to somebody, just about anything.
Anything.
Because a lot of times when we're depressed or feeling anxious, we just want to hide in our rooms or hide in a corner and just not say anything. But often that makes matters worse, because then it gets our head spinning with all ideas we shouldn't be thinking about. And just talking to somebody about whatever it might be.
And I'm an extrovert, believe it or not. And for me to process through my emotions, I have to talk to somebody. And my poor friends, thank you so much for supporting me and being in the chat. They know everything about me. It's just because that's the way that I can process through my emotions.
Yep.
So talking to somebody, even if it's you guys' best friends, that's why they're your friends. Buy them coffee or dinner or lunch, something. Finally, on here, what we can do is we can grab Katya's book, and that is on Amazon. So it's Anxiety, in Wonderland, Amazon. Let's pull it up. Amazon, there you go. This is Katya's book. It is free on Kindle, and it's $24.99. What I need from here is I need to save her image, and then save, that's fine. Oh, well, I'm not gonna do the Photoshop portion of this right now. Because it's a white background.
Oh, but soon we'll have blend modes. You can just get rid of that white background. But, until then.
Great, yes. What we can do is increase the image here, blend mode, get rid of all the white portion, and then we are going to create a button real quick because we are literally 10 minutes out. How has the time gone?
Right?
It
seems to be a common theme.
Yeah.
Just goes by so quickly.
And then we are going to round the corners. All right. Show me. Rounded corners. They're on here somewhere.
Oh yeah,
My
so
brain.
there's two ways.
here
Yeah,
it
you can
is.
either do it there by entering a value, or if you zoom in close to that button, there'll be these little handles
All right, let's do that.
on the inside.
Let's do that real quick. Do, 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 do. All right,
There they
those.
are.
Nice. There you go. Rounded corners. All right, button. I'm gonna let you guys choose the color of this button. Where do you guys want me to sample? Should I sample her pink hair? That's a fun button.
This is tricky because there's a lot of color going on behind it.
Yeah. Ooh, not gonna work.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Nope,
No.
not gonna work. All right. Oh, tingling. No, it doesn't work. This is gonna be interesting. We need a button. How are we?
My
going
gut
to
is
choose
saying
this?
that the best color is going to be white, but
Yeah,
at the same time, it's not an enticing button to click or color to
No.
click.
Do me
That's
a-
tricky.
let's pull up the color wheel, right? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna sample the orange because it's sitting on the orange. What's opposite of orange? Blue. There you go.
That could work.
That works for right now.
Yeah, you can probably fine tune it, but
Yes.
who has time for that?
No, we don't have time for that. But I'm gonna make this obnoxiously big right now because everything else is overpowering this button. It's gonna look like a 90s website.
Well, that's okay.
That's okay. I feel like the color can be a little bit more on the purple side.
Yeah.
And then we can add a drop shadow. Or
Eric and
not.
Casey are saying dark green.
Darker green.
Marta's saying blue.
Yeah, we said blue.
Yellow.
This is interesting. Turquoise. Darker green.
You ever find yourself just sitting for minutes, if not hours, just tweaking
God.
button colors
Yeah.
over and over and over again?
I know. I've done that. It's not fun. I'm loving this lime, to be honest.
And it kind of pulls in the grass
Yeah,
and
let's
the trees.
do that. And then we'll do by now. That's too big. By me now. Buy my book. I don't know. Let's see. Buy. Okay, cool. All right. So we selected 2 elements. We centered them. It's vibrating, isn't it? Can you tell?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a
Let's
border going on.
yeah.
Is there a border?
Well, no, there is a
Oh,
border.
there is a border, okay.
But the text on the...
Oh, yeah.
Then we have a drop shadow too. So let's play around with that drop shadow. And let's do 10.
And what are your thoughts on, serif fonts on buttons? I know
I'm
you're
not
using
a
it throughout.
big fan.
I'm not either.
I'm not a big fan, but right now that's everything that we have. Like,
Right.
We can choose something a little bit more
Hey, Julia.
bravado. Oops. No? Okay, I gotta download it. Okay.
Oh, that's right. It's a new computer, so you probably haven't synced it.
Helvetica, I guess we're going basic. Basic.
Nothing wrong with Helvetica.
Yeah, I know.
Just don't go Comic Sans.
Yeah, no, don't. Definitely. I feel like maybe instead of black, we can do like a nice purple. Like a dark purple. Okay, perfect. All right, so this is not the most ideal
Right.
background. We can get rid of that. But for now, this is what it would look like. We would definitely consult our content team to make sure that everything is written correctly. All the content that's on there is available to everyone, and the call to action is correct. But this is the final product, Anxiety and Wonderland. We have Alice, we have the component, the rabbit that's actually walking us through the story. We're talking about what is anxiety. We're talking about how it affects us and the people around us. We are talking about how we can get help and making sure that we reach out to people. And then finally, we are talking about, we'd have a title on this page. We need a title on this page and a subtitle, and talk about like the importance of the book and what makes it special.
Yeah.
And then you can click here and buy my book.
I love it.
Some people will put the call to action button on the first page as well, because some people are just here to actually purchase the book. So you can do that. So have the call to action on the first page, but then, you know, kind of state your case and why they should buy the book and why it's important, tell your story. And then some people actually put the call to action button on every single slide.
You can also have it as a floating button that kind of just sticks with you as you scroll.
Yeah, that works too. So there's multiple ways to go about it. You know, you have to test what works best for your audience.
Right.
So A/B testing is actually perfect for something like this.
Yeah. And you mentioned at the beginning that you eventually want to add animations to various sections. As you're scrolling down, can you kind of talk about what's going to be animating in each section?
I'm gonna keep this up, and I'm gonna pull up the animations. So, Adam Osiki, he's in the chat. If you guys have any questions, he actually, you know, animated a few things to us. Literally late at night yesterday, we reached out to him. We were like, "Hey, can you do this for us real quick?" So, for example, oh wait, nope. What I'm gonna do is. Okay, there you go. And this is something. This is an example of an animation that would, as you scroll down to the final page, is kind of like, ta-da! Like, so that's pretty cool. We have in the how to get help. This was very cool, kind of like growing from the ground. Like there's a lot of concepts of growth, renewing, you know, rejuvenation, of, you know, accepting who you are when you're asking for help, which is kind of cool. He created some little fun elements that you can have on the screen to kind of like attract your attention to certain call to action elements or like text content, informative pieces. So he's done that. And then finally, this is perfect.
Really
it's
cool.
Literally on top of it, which is amazing. So that's kind of the vision that we have, is Alice kind of showing up from behind the cards, which is kind of cool too. Yeah, so thank you, Adam, so much for helping us out yesterday. Yeah, that's about it.
And I think it was in Andrea's, possibly her first challenge. So last Tuesday, she showed off how to do something similar with like a card flip animation.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of capabilities with XD using the
Auto Animate?
Auto Animate, thank you so much. Using Auto Animate, but that's what we were talking about in the beginning of the stream. We were talking about how we can build each one on a different artboard, and then have the artboards transition to one another. So you're able to actually create animation either on click or on, you mentioned there was another action that you can do that would
drag as well.
Drag would be perfect. Or time, yeah. So as you're going through the page, the idea is these elements would hover. What's really cool about animation or movement is it attracts your eye. Like anything that's on the page that's actually moving will attract your eye towards it. That's the first thing you're gonna see. And if you use it correctly, then it'll take you to the most important information that we need you to look at. On this page, we wanted to showcase the anger and the frightness of Alice and her bunny. And then here, kind of like the way, you know, we wanted to have elements enter the page and exit the page as you're dragging. The growth was an important piece here. And then finally, having all of the pieces come together and then the book showing up like, here's the solution. Yeah.
Totally. Awesome. So, and maybe if we have time after we review some of these challenge entries, we'll dive into Auto Animate.
Yeah.
And we'll try to replicate some of what Adam did, and maybe we'll experiment with drag triggers or scrolling artboards or something like that.
That'd be fun. I'm really excited to see how people actually represented teleportation.
I know. I haven't looked in Discord yet, but I'm hoping that we'll have at least a few.
Yes, I
know
hope
it,
so too.
You know, it's only 2 hours since Andrea showed it off, but let's hop over to my screen.
Nice.
I'm gonna hop into the XD channel. Here we go. So here's our Discord channel server. I think we have like 20,000 people in here. It's insane. Only 20,000, yeah.
Only 24?
There's 700 online now, and there's like 20,000 signed up.
That's amazing.
But we have over here the feedback section and the current challenge. Let's scroll all the way down. All right, so this is day 4. Is this for the solar energy? I don't think we have any for today.
Oh no.
Solar No, not yet. People are still probably working hard on it, but let's
Hi, Casey. Hi, Dunya.
look at some of these.
Hugo.
So this is for day number 4. This is the solar energy one.
Nice.
And I love when, people are building out these challenges, when they put like a design system or about the challenge at the top and what the focus is, solution, that sort of thing, colors.
It builds like a case study.
Yeah.
Case studies are very important. I think what's beautiful about case studies, instead of like cluttering your portfolio with all these projects that show your visual talent, but when you want people to see inside your mind, it's kind of, a case study is really good. And then focusing on 3 different case studies and putting those in your portfolio, I think for me as somebody who's looking for someone to add to the team is more beneficial than seeing a portfolio is full of just stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about this challenge. So
I think this one was for yesterday's challenge, which was to, it's over, where is it? Here we go. And it is, so yesterday's challenge was to use overlays to design an experience to monitor and control a solar energy system.
nice.
So I think that's what this user did here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like the colors. I like that it feels nice and clean. I also like. I'm very curious about the battery portion. Like, why is it taking up so much space or real estate on the bottom of the page? So I'm curious if it's just a graphical element or if there is like something that it represents.
Yeah.
But the story it tells is beautiful. The contrast and the way the colors work together is nice. I like the simplicity of it too. I think the choice of typography, the hierarchy of type, it works really well. But looking at it, I wouldn't really know what it is until I read my solar energy. Okay, it's solar energy, but like, can you control it? Can you not control it? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and the only thing I would say is although I like the colors, the pink inside of the white and against the blue is a little bit, maybe it's the size, the thinness of these lines. It's a little bit difficult to kind of see, so maybe a little bit more contrast between the pink and the white.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, let's take a look. We've got another one here from, I don't know what that username says. R3, I don't know, something.
Okay.
Here we go. Looks like it's a clickable.
Nice.
Quote of the day from Elon Musk.
I see gradients. Okay, so you got to be careful with ADA. So white on that blue is really hard to read, especially because there's graphics behind it. So make sure there's a high contrast. I like that you're experimenting with gradient. With gradient, the trick is to not go so drastic in the color.
Yeah.
So make it more subtle. That will make it more successful. I like the choice of typefaces. The interaction is really nice. It highlights the modal, which is beautiful. Really cool.
That's cute.
Weather, oh yeah. I wonder if he created the graphics or if they were ready-made. They look custom.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this one, I feel like I actually understand what the product is.
Right.
Compared to the previous one. So I think he's very successful kind of like organizing information to kind of explain what the product is.
Yep.
Nice.
And then we've got this one from Mark.
Ooh. Very technical.
Yeah.
Very technical looking. I feel like this product would be more B2B. So like business to business instead of like business to a customer.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like this is something that you would provide a corporation. Because it has a lot of information and a lot of data, and that's something I feel like a corporation would need.
Yeah,
right?
and that's kind of really where user experience and then research comes into play. Really talking with customers, asking them, if you had a solar panel, or if you do have solar panels, what do you want to see when you open up this application,
Yeah.
right? And I can't, like this, there's a lot going on here.
I agree.
And if you are a business, then maybe you want to see all that stuff, right? But as a user, I probably wouldn't. It's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the colors are nice.
And then don't be afraid of using native modals. So a lot of times what we do is we, because we have to build for iOS and Android,
Right.
instead of building something custom, especially like something as simple as like a modal, what we do is we use the native components for iOS and the native components for Android.
Yep.
And we actually build in Xamarin. So we put the content in there and use the actual components for the different system, because people who use iOS are used to seeing iOS elements, and people who are using Android are used to using Android. Ooh, the animation was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's nice. So familiarity is something that you need to take into consideration when you're designing too.
Absolutely.
You know, is your customer familiar? Do they understand what certain icons mean? Do you have to explain what they are? Best practice, tightening up, like reading up on best practices when you're doing UX and UI is very important. So if you are a self-taught designer, make sure that you're learning what are the best practices. It makes it easier for you to hand off designs. It makes it easier for you to speak with developers and illustrators and animators. So keep that in mind.
Totally. We'll do one more, and this
is a dark.
is very dark.
This is like a dark mode.
Yeah.
Nice. I feel like the yellow could have been sharper, more saturated. Nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Just to have a higher contrast. This is nice.
Yeah, and be careful with these mock-ups, because even though I love when designs are kind of placed within devices, whenever they're at a weird angle like this perspective or isometric angle, it's a little bit difficult to kind of tilt your head. So I would go for something like this instead, just so we can really see it straight on.
I agree.
But yeah, otherwise, yeah, like you said, maybe the yellow.
The saturate the yellow, and that's and make sure that you're not using similar colors next to one another, because what happens is you can't read, especially if you with graphics it's fine, but when it comes to text, make sure that there is a high contrast. With XD, do we have a feature for ADA?
Yeah, so the Stark plugin is fantastic for stuff like that. It'll tell you if the contrast is not right. It looks at text, I believe, if it's too small or too large.
And I believe it's Stark, but I could be wrong. It also could show you, correct me if I'm wrong, it could be a different plugin, but it'll show you different disabilities and how they see the design.
Oh, like color blindness?
Yeah. So how they see the design, so that you can test it on different, disabilities, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. So maybe tomorrow we'll check back and we'll see if there's any.
2 hours is a hard time, and I'm having a hard time with the teleportation theme.
Yeah.
I know she did a great job. I saw her; she was amazing.
Yeah.
But like conceptually, I'm still like trying to grasp how it would work.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, let's hop back over to your screen. There
nice. Another reason why I asked Katya to break up the components into different layers is because we were thinking about responsive design. So we were thinking about responsive design. We were thinking about, okay, if I wanted to shrink this down to a mobile app, then I want to be able to manipulate her designs.
That's right.
In a way where I can, restructure the page to fit the device itself.
Yeah, and these days you really have to think about mobile design because on many websites, the majority of users are browsing on their mobile phones.
I agree. All right, let's focus on this page. So do you want to help me out, Howard?
Sure.
Let's build let's add, help me out here. If I want to add an artboard once again.
So if you can grab the artboard tool, press A on your keyboard.
Oh, sorry, press A, okay. And then how do I make sure that it is the correct size?
So you have some presets over to the right.
Whoops, my bad.
That's okay.
They're right in front of my eyes. Okay. Web, this one. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to need 2 of those so that we can do a before and after, right?
Yeah. And what you could do is you can start with the before. So design that first and then duplicate it and then make the changes.
Oh,
yeah.
duh. Look at you. That's why Howard is here. All right. Ooh, I'm going wild. Let's get rid of this for right now because I'm not happy with it. Okay. Copy and paste. Ooh, wild. All right.
The bunny at the top is so cute.
He's adorable. Adorable. All right. Should I keep more space between them? Because I know sometimes we use that negative space around them. You know?
Yeah. Also, it'll probably help just thinking forward to place all the elements inside of a group. That way, if you move some of them off the artboard and they go into the pasteboard, they will not, well, they won't go into the pasteboard, yeah.
So should I group everything?
Yeah, I would probably do it on the first artboard before you duplicated it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember why. Yeah. I need to dabble more into doing animation. That's like one thing that I want to get better.
It gets you hooked.
I want to get better, yeah.
Yeah, once you really start diving into it and you start learning about like time triggers and everything, it just hooks you.
All right, so this is going to be the after.
Yep.
All right, and then this is going to be the before?
Whichever.
Okay,
Or, you can,
this
or
could
that
be
can
the
be,
before.
they're,
Okay.
they're the same right now, yeah.
Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take him out of the page. Can we do like a bounce, like him showing up and like him like bouncing back a
So there is a bounce easing option. It's not the greatest. It's very drastic.
Okay, cool. Wait, sorry. I want to show him his hands. Oh, he's not going to show. The hands are not going to show because, never mind. I'm going to be quiet right now.
Okay.
Okay, so get into the group and then move everything out. Correct? All right. So we're going to move them out. I want them to be smaller. So
And are those little leaves individual elements or is it
No.
one? Okay.
they're one.
Okay. So if they were individual, you can also rotate each and every individual one.
Okay.
And it would kind of replicate what, I forgot his name. I'm a terrible host.
Oh, Adam?
Adam
Yeah.
did. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam.
It's okay. So I want this to grow, but I also want it to appear.
Okay.
So then it's going to be small, and then we have it at 0.
Yep.
0. And then this one, we want it to be right here. This little guy. Let's do that. All right. Mentor. What do I do?
So, and the cool thing about Auto Animate is now that you've designed it,
Yes.
that's basically the hardest part, right?
Okay.
So now you're going to hop into prototype mode at the top left.
Yes. Oh, God.
Sure.
Got it.
And then for this one, because you want, you basically want a time trigger. You want it to load after the artboard has opened up. So
Yes.
you want to click on the artboard name. So you want the entire artboard selected.
Yes.
And then you got the blue handle over there. You drag it over. And then to the right in the properties,
Right here?
yep, so the trigger, you actually want a time trigger.
Nice.
And usually I would set a delay of like 0.8 seconds, otherwise it'll kick off way too quickly.
Yes. Okay. 0.8 seconds.
Now for the action, instead of a transition, which is like a cut or a dissolve, you want auto animate.
Nice. Yes.
And for those who don't know what auto animate is, it's essentially magic. It's what it is.
Yeah.
XD is going to look at the differences between these two artboards and then just animate
Nice.
the changes. Now
And
was that?
And then if we wanted to control each element on the page, we can do that too, right?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
So you can kind of fake it.
Yeah.
So if you want certain elements to come in slower than others,
Yeah.
you would essentially on the first artboard move them much further.
Further.
Yeah.
Yes,
Eventually
okay.
we'll probably have some sort of choreography going on,
Okay.
but not at the moment.
Okay.
And probably the other thing you want to take a look at is the easing options.
Yes.
So we do have a bounce. I wouldn't recommend it
No.
because it would just be like brrr. In and out's probably your best bet.
Yes.
And then duration, 0.3 might be too quick.
Yeah.
So maybe try 1 second, see what that looks like.
Nice. And then we're going to press play.
Go for it.
Okay.
Woo. So that was kind of quick.
That was real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll increase this. Let's do maybe 3 seconds. Is that too much? 2 seconds. Just. What do you think?
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Maybe press return. Oh, okay. Try it again.
Oh, sorry. Oh, there you go. That's a lot better.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah, that wasn't
So
bad
now you
at all.
can you start getting a little bit creative, and if you wanted maybe the flowers to come in later, you would just grab the flowers layer and move them much further down.
Oh, let's do that.
And you might have to really move it further down to
Okay.
give it enough time to kind of pop up.
Right,
But until we have choreography, it's a little bit of a hack.
So that's what you call it, choreography. That's pretty cool.
It's probably different. There's like a timeline, there's choreography, depends on.
Oh,
Yeah, see how that kind of worked?
I love this. Okay.
Yeah.
Evil
Now you're hooked, see? I told
Evil
you.
laugh. Okay, so how do you make sure that this isn't that this element doesn't like overlap?
Yeah, so we've already taken care of that. Because you put all of it
grouped
into a
it.
group and it's grouped with
Smart.
elements that are already on the artboard,
Yeah.
XD kind of realizes that. Yeah, there we go.
Oh my god, I love this. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm like refining this at this moment.
No, it's fine. That's
Okay,
what we
cool.
do.
All right, so we're gonna move this guy. Oops. Ah. No. All right, so we're gonna move him a little bit up. I'm just now messing with this right now. This is like fun. All right, let's see what happens.
Ooh.
Oh wow!
Yep.
See, that looks so much better.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And if the bunny's hands were on separate layers, you can move those even further so the hands kind of come in later.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
But there's so much you can do with auto
Yeah.
animate. And again, all you have to do is to just design.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Are we gonna spend the next 15 minutes doing this?
Probably.
Okay, cool. So this is that page. Did you want to talk about how we can mess with? Remember how? Whoops. The card kind of flipped around.
Yeah, that's quite a bit
That's
more
harder?
difficult. Yeah.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I would maybe just have an overlapping so that you can kind of
they're
see the
like-
queen and it just kind of comes out.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
we can do that. So let's move these guys out of the
Jan's
way.
asking, can you have a rubber banding effect where they slightly jump backwards again before stopping? So that might be bounce.
That was the bounce.
That might be bounce. It's very drastic. I mean, if you want, you can try switching to bounce on the artboards
On
you
this
have,
one? Okay.
just to kind of show what that looks like.
Oh goodness. Forgive me. I'm just trying to let you guys see. All right, so here we have it on in auto animate and then ease in, ease out. What we can do is we can do bounce.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a little
Prepare
fun. But 2
yourself.
seconds though?
Try it, see what happens.
Okay, let's see. You want it to look bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah, see, I don't know.
it's too much.
Yeah.
The
There's
bunny
also-
though, like you said, if we have different
Right.
if we had you
Choreography
said
or-
it. Choreography, yeah.
yeah.
If we have that, then maybe bounce would look nice.
Possibly, yeah.
And then a slight bounce would be nice. Was that 2 seconds or was that 0.2
That was 2.
seconds? Okay, so let's do like a 5 second. Let's see what happens. Just gonna slow down. I'm gonna let it reload. How did you let it reload last
We
time?
have to press return.
Return.
On the so close that window.
Oh.
And then over to the right where it says duration, just press return to accept it.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. That makes a lot of sense.
Boing,
Whoa.
boing, boing. Yeah, yeah.
Well, at least
Bounces.
it's there though. It's
Yeah.
just kind of cool. Nice. Nice. I like it. Do you want to check one last time to see if anybody posted anything in the challenge section while I replicate this artboard right here?
Oh, we do have one.
Oh, yay! I'm excited.
All right.
Ooh.
So this one is from C Block, and this is for the teleportation.
Nice C block.
Let's see what we're getting into. Let me zoom. Can I zoom in? No. Oops.
All the secrets.
All the secrets. All right. So we.
You
so
can
we have
zoom in
some-
on the screen. Maybe
Oh, that's
try
right. Yes.
Option. There you go.
You are right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So we've got hotspots to help us out. So we're
Nice.
traveling to here. Oh, I like that gradient.
Did you see that transition? That transition was beautiful. I would just give it a little bit more time, just a little bit more time, just so it's smoother. Yeah.
And it looks like C-Block is using the wind up easing option, where it kind of goes back and then forward. Which is kind of nice. Yeah. Install jump.
Ooh. Okay.
So I guess jumping is the term for teleporting.
Teleporting.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
Okay, I forgive you for taking all the time that you need to put this together. Thank you so much.
And it looks like he's using time triggers to go back and forth between these two artboards. And I'm assuming, yep, you can click. Whoa. Okay. There was some weirdness going on there, but I'm sure with a little bit of time you can tweak that. Interesting. So previous jump date's 1940.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, okay, so it's like a time travel?
Oh, wow.
It's like a time machine. I love
Fancy.
this. Yeah. I really like, okay, so here, if you notice, we were talking about dark, dark UI.
Yeah.
And it works here because the way she, I'm not sure, Travis?
C-Block.
C-Block. C-Block, it could be a robot. The way the use of color on this canvas, on this page, makes the colors pop. So the black background actually makes the focus on the content more prominent.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So for this app, and it has a lot of icons on the top. I'm curious to know why the menu is up top, not on the bottom. Have you noticed?
Yeah, and these look like for photography.
Yeah.
So HDR, there's temperature, there's automatic. I'm not sure if C-Block just like put these here for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if they actually relate to this.
Dark mode. Thank you, Thashara. Robot, Dunya. But yeah, so the icons seem like they are actionable items. So they work on this page. Maybe they were an accident on that page.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Because they work on this page. They make sense.
Yeah.
Because on the first page, it doesn't make sense for them to be on there. So just edit that and then put it up on your portfolio.
Yeah.
But yes, dark mode is perfect. I wonder why you switched from black to this dark green.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Here.
So there's green here and then
And then it's black.
Yeah, look, and also down here, there's some green behind the welcome back button. So definitely focus on some consistency, which will take this a long way.
But use of color, the hierarchy of type. I like that you played around with the numbers, which is kind of cool. I'm assuming this is like June 30th. You're going to Italy on Monday, September 23rd. That's kind of cool. The weather is nice. Kingdom of Naples. Nice. I didn't know Naples was a kingdom. That's awesome.
Maybe it is in the future.
Oh.
Or it is and we just don't know.
Yeah. Travel On is a fun name. I like that there's imagery. The focus on imagery is nice. The history log is beautiful. So you're thinking about what it is that we would be looking for when we're using an app. And then the animation that you put together. Just push it back a little bit further so it's a smoother animation, but I think it's great. Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing some more.
Me too.
Cool.
I'm so impressed. Yeah, great job.
Nope, no more.
No more.
No more.
All right.
All right, we got about 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left.
Yeah. So kind of go over
what we talked about today.
1 minute left. Do a recap of all the magical goodness that you did today.
Cool. So what we've done today is we built a promotional or a landing page for Katya Oli's Anxiety and Wonderland's book to kind of talk about, the importance of understanding mental health and also kind of like highlighting the importance of Mental Health Month, which is September. We talked about the story of a landing page. How do you tell a story? It's the same thing as writing a story, which you go through the different steps of capturing people's attention, building the tension, putting some problems in the middle, climaxing, and then finally giving a resolution and promoting, adding the call to action. So this is basically what we worked on, collaboration with Katya Oli. And then we also showcased some animations to showcase how you can use Auto Animate in XD, which is kind of cool.
Love it. I love how this turned out. And if you missed Katya's stream, definitely go back and watch that.
Yes.
Great illustrator. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
course.
I feel so blessed to be back here again.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
It's like a family reunion.
I know, it's fun. Thank you everyone joining us on Behance. And also tomorrow, I guess starting tonight in Australia, we have IXDD, which is all about trust and responsibility in design. So we're going to be streaming for 24 hours, Australia, and I think Europe, and then tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Pacific time in the US, all day. So stay tuned for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow for the 24 hours stream. Bye.
Bye.